those, by the way, I don't even know. Like, I don't know where rhino came. I mean, I know what a rhino is. I could try to figure it out. I didn't even know about Jack.
I didn't know Jenny Mays either. I never heard that,
I
Jenny
don't know about
Mays.
Ginnie Mae, though. Isn't there a loan company called Ginnie Mae? Or
No,
anyway,
that's Fannie Mae, the loan
Fannie
company.
Mae, yeah. But pick one that's kind of obvious. What's one? Let's just take the very first stanza. These are called stanzas, by the way, not paragraphs. Stanza, stanza. Paragraphs in poetry are stanzas. So, where's an obvious dead metaphor, or once we think about it, a dead metaphor there that we all know? I think maybe it's
plain dough.
Dough, right? Maybe nope. Does anybody use dough anymore?
Yeah.
Maybe that's more in like some old movies, but maybe still say dough. But okay, so let's go. Let's keep writing. I don't know. Now maybe I could create a transition, but let's not worry about the transition. Let's just go. We'll create the transition later. What can we say in the poem "Money"? Dana Gioia. Okay, what does Dana Gioia write? I think I misspelled Gioia. There's another I in his name. So that's like a Portuguese name, Gioia. Writes that what?
Money.
Money. Writes that money is
Cash, it's green, it's plain, it's you can stash it, you can
okay, yeah, but let's just focus on dough.
Okay.
Okay, so now somebody unpack the metaphor for me. Is that a dead metaphor for most people if they were to say, give me your dough, give me all the dough you have in your pocket? I mean, again, I think this is kind of an old-fashioned term now. Most people would say something else, but let's just go with it. Do most people think about that? Do they see bread dough and they say that?
If you say it in that way, give me all the dough in your pocket, then yeah, it kind of tells you. If someone comes up to you with a gun and says, give me all the dough in your pocket, you know that she's talking about all the money in your pocket.
Okay, let's try this. If somebody comes up to you and asks you with a gun and demands, give me all the dough in your pocket, what are you probably not going to think?
He wants bread.
Yes.
I guess technically though, bread is even a way of saying money as well.
Right, exactly.
Right. Actually, bread would be more current, I think.
Yeah.
People say bread now more than dough. But notice what we did. You might not have had that thought, Jaime, if we had not done what we're doing. This is making my very point. We just discovered something, that dough and bread are both metaphors for money, and that's interesting, and I'll show you why as we think more about it. Okay, are not going to think of bread, or then you go, or actually, bread in the sense of what?
Money.
Food bread. Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the sense of loaf and
bread. Yeah.
Loaf of what's my favorite kind of bread? What's somebody's favorite kind of bread? Let's be
potato bread.
Potato bread.
Pita bread.
Pita bread. Yeah, that's not in loaf, as like in the sense of say piece of pita bread. Or you could go other ways. You could say, you're not going to start pulling slices of bread out of your pockets, right?
Right.
Okay, so, and that show, maybe that Martian would, right? But imagine the Martian was down here in the other poem we read, and he got held up. He would go, excuse me, and pulled out like a loaf of bread and handed it to the.
Yeah.
Now you're laughing, but do you see how what I just said? I'm not writing it down, but could I write that down and put it in the paper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you see what I want you guys to do? I want
So-
you to really do this.
So
Okay.
what is which one is the latent and one, and in this case, which one would be the latent and which one would be the manifest? I don't know.
Okay. Somebody work that out for us. Let's get that down. Is bread as a piece of pita bread the latent or the manifest meaning originally?
I don't know.
Hey, and Peter would be the latent.
Well, originally, if I just said, let's have, did bread originally mean money, or did bread originally mean something that you eat?
Something we ate. Yeah.
Right. So originally, the first time somebody said, give me all the bread in your pocket, the first time somebody said that, it meant that it was equating bread, money, with what you eat. Okay. Right. So originally, the bread was manifest, the manifest meaning. But what has happened to that manifest meaning in the saying? It has died. Do we see that? Do you see that,
Yep.
Harriet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could write that. Again, I don't want to be writing everything for you, but you would unpack that. And by the way, let's say you got it backwards. At least I know you're trying, right? You're trying to figure it out. So even if you get it backwards, but the thing is, if you think down through it enough, you'll probably eventually get it right. Like after you draft it and then go back and everything. And now let's think about this a little bit more. Why did somebody call money bread? So I'm gonna, I'm not gonna keep writing it. I'm gonna show you where you would keep writing, where you would explain the first time or something. But once we explain that first time, why would somebody call money bread?
Because it has to be made.
Well, yeah, okay. You have to make it. Well, this could be its own poem. Why else? When we see in the Bible or something, bread itself is a metaphor for what? Like our daily bread.
Like breaking bread, break bread.
Yeah, so bread is a metaphor for what? When we break bread, when we earn our daily bread, do we only eat bread? Maybe we did a long time ago if we were really poor. But bread is itself a metaphor for what?
Yeah.
Food, right?
Mm-hmm.
To break bread is to eat. And what's the deal with food?
Oh, gosh.
I'm unpacking this one for you, but I want to show you how it works. We need food in order what?
Survive.
To survive. Well, nowadays, do we need money to survive?
Absolutely.
Whoa. Don't know what happened there. Okay, et cetera. Do you see how by really thinking about this metaphor, we kind of found out where it originally came from and why somebody would originally call money bread? And I think you guys know all this, but it seems like so obvious to you that, we're not used to, we know it, but it's so obvious to us that we kind of have to really work at it to unpack it. Just as if you were trying to explain somebody how to drive, you might go, gosh, I don't even know how to drive anymore. Let me think about, what I do. Or if there's anything you're really good at, shooting a basketball, cooking an egg or something, and we're so good at just sort of processing this information but in the process of doing that, we forget a lot of fundamental things. So does everybody see how we just, and I haven't even written it all, we just wrote a half a page applying Roger Brown's idea to an example, one word from one poem. And I know we need to stop, but does everybody see what we did? Or questions, comments?
You make it so effortless.
Well, I can write. I mean, yes, I mean, I write probably more fluently than most of you write, but also I want to model that. Just do what? Don't worry about, did I get every sentence correct? You know, like, do I need to go back and kind of fix some things and clean up some loose ends and stuff? So, you know, the idea here is it's a process of thinking, isn't it? And it's a process of taking your claim seriously. You know, like, okay, the claim is that what happens to words is that, as metaphors, is that they die. Well, let me give an example. And so we messed around with that. And we could go further, because what Dana Gioia does is by putting that phrase in a poem, he's asking us to think about what it literally means again. Like, burns holes through pockets. What would be the literal meaning? You know, that would hurt. But the idea is, if we have a hole in our pocket, then the money falls out, right? And that, when we say burning, you know, money burns a hole in our pocket, we mean that if we have money in our pocket, it's not there the next day, right? It burns a hole in our pocket, and all those. Here's one that would be fun to write about. Do I need to say more? Money breeds money. Work that one out. Okay. So okay, we better stop. But this is the idea, and I hope you see that what I want to see you doing is thinking about this stuff and working it out, and doing this sort of unpacking of really these ideas, and just drilling down to the basics. And there's a lot more we could have done, but we're out of time. So, okay. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, we're at 10:40.